Hi, sis. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hey guys, this is your girl Eclectic Crystal, Intuitive Guide, and I am live right now with my coven sister, Coach Cretia, also known as Lucretia Hayes Rayno. And I'm excited because we just kind of wanted to chat it up for a little while. As our coven, the Living Goddesses. So, Coach Cretia, you there?
I am still having some tech difficulties, but I'm right now.
Okay, no problem. So, guys, just give us a few minutes while my sister kind of gets herself situated and set up, and we're going to chop it up for a little while. While she's doing that, let me just share with you guys, if you aren't familiar with my Facebook page is Witch Works. That's WYTCH You can come over there and you can follow me. You can friend request. You can also check out my page, Eclectic Crystal Intuitive Guide. There you can go and look at a list of my products and services. You can request time, you can request readings, you can request tarot readings, intuitive readings, and so on and so forth. So as soon as my sister comes up, I want her to introduce herself. Most of you guys already know her, but I wanted to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what she does and what she has to offer, that you guys can also go to her and check her out. She has 2 pages on Facebook. One is Lucretia Hayes Rayno, and the other one is for our mystical, occult, interested beings. You can check her out at Emrain. That's EMMERAIN. All right, sis, you got it.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna see if I can get my video on. Can you hear me though pretty well?
Yes, I hear you real good.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there I am. I had to switch our headpieces. The last one went out. So hi guys, I'm real happy to be here with my sister today. I'm really excited. We've been talking for quite some time. So this has been coming for a while. We share a lot of the same passions when it comes to women and when it comes to relationships and that kind of thing. You pretty much already gave the information out, so I'm ready, sis. I mean, guys, if you're into mysticism, it's best to add me on the Emrain page. And my Coach Lucretia page is full. You can follow me there, but I very rarely have openings for friends, but I do try to list clean every 2 weeks. So either or is same person. So I'm excited. Okay.
One of our we have 2 other goddesses in our coven, guys. So one of our other coven sisters will probably join us later on. We may do another video this evening. I'm not sure, but we have so many different topics that we really have been wanting to talk about. A lot of things that just need to get talked about. A lot of things that we just kind of wanted to chop it up with you guys. And so really, I think right now, the biggest thing that my sister and I have really been talking about is this goddess energy during this Mercury retrograde. We have a couple of retrogrades going on right now, but
right.
you know, like during the solar eclipse, today is Mercury Day, as a matter of fact, for you guys who don't know about that. So today is like that day for you to really kind of go deeper within and start, you know, focusing on that inner self, you know, really getting into your divinity and your spiritual being and just kind of loving on yourself a little bit. And so we just had the solar eclipse, which was amazing. If you guys did not get
yes.
goodness, you missed out on a good treat. But so with the solar eclipse that just passed, a lot of things were getting downloaded to us, our coven sisters, and a lot of information pertaining to the goddess energy and the divine feminine, and just kind of wanting us to kind of express to our goddess sisters to kind of start loving on themselves and just knowing who you are, without really being told or having other people or outside people tell you that you are
Yeah.
a beautiful goddess. I know that Lilith has been pulling on me. I know she had already been kind of working with my sister, Coach Cretia, a lot. And so she really kind of gave me a message for our women. Y'all hear my daughter in the background, don't mind her. But Lilith has a very strong message. She is one of the most misunderstood goddesses, I think. And Krisha, you can kind of, go in a little deeper if you know of any other goddess energies that might be misunderstood as much as Lilith, because a lot of people have been focusing on Lilith as a demonic being, and she is
Yeah.
nothing at all like what you guys have read about, what you guys have thought,
Right.
whatever the Christian Orthodox has taught you or told you regarding Lilith. Trust me, it is not all facts, not at all. So Lilith actually
Right.
was Adam's very first wife. Is true. However, Lilith is that power goddess that she doesn't stand for no mess. Like she takes her place. She is not going to be defeated. She's not going to be overtalked. She's not going to be put down. She's not going to be told that she has to do this, that, or like she is not that force that is willing to just sit back in the corner and walk around barefoot and pregnant, just having babies and cooking.
Right.
She don't do that. You understand what I'm saying? That's just not her. So she is that driving force for the women who feel depressed, who feel oppressed, who feel like they cannot be themselves, or you can't, like today you see me, I have no makeup on, y'all. This is not my day. This is off. I don't have any clients today, so I'm not trying to be extra, but I often go out like this a lot. And our goddesses, I'm noticing that there is like this natural fear for our goddesses to go out in their natural selves. And so, today is kind of what we kind of want to talk about, is letting you guys know that you do not have to continue to kind of bound yourself up under the confines of what real beauty looks like. Honestly, real beauty is flawless. It has no extra outside help. You don't have to put the makeup on. You don't have to throw the hair in. You don't have to dress to the nines. Like, you can just go out in your natural self and just be confident in that. You know what I mean? Sister, go ahead and share what you want to share on that.
Well, talking about one more thing that I find is that people often miss with first of all, let me say this. Let me address this issue. When you go back into history, you first discover that most of the history that we were taught in school or through church or any other place that's accepted, and that's important to realize, any place that's accepted, common held knowledge, was written by people who had an agenda in presenting the truth as it is. Everybody's truth, of course, is different anyway, because perspective shift depending on where you're standing on the situation. Well, Lilith was one of those things that got shifted. Now, if you go back past, because most people trace her back to the Christian or Jewish literature or folklore, but she goes all the way back to the Anunnaki. She goes all the way back to Mesopotamian times, Babylonian times. She goes all the way back before Adam and Eve.
Right.
Okay, so and the reason why that's important is because there are a different level of energies on this planet. You have some deities, some goddesses and gods that are new. They are nothing really new in thought form. But you also have other energies that predate humanity, that's been here before we were here, that had a lot to do with the creation of humanity on this planet. Okay, Lilith is one of those energies. Now, when you understand it from that perspective, that she's an original, because I see a lot of people, especially in the occult or in paganism, they want to bend these deities to their will. Now, I do understand that you can have an argument with anybody or whatever. Lilith, though, is not one of those energies or entities that you can cause, comment, and use for a whole bunch of petty. But it is a lot of energies out there that actually mimic her and come on occasion. When you bring
Mm-hmm.
Lilith into your life, you will know it, because a purge will hit your life immediately following her inception or her introduction into your life. There's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a purge of all those old mindsets and paradigms that we hold. There's a purge of all those fears that keep us bound up and having us thinking that this is the role of a woman, this is the role of a man. Now, understand this, guys. When you start discovering, because we're talking to those that's highly awake, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you're highly awake, then you already know that you have been walking in deception most of your life. Now, it's funny to me that when people realize they're walking in deception, they still want to hold on to some things that's hard to shift. But if we truly have been introduced and put into a world that's upside down, if this matrix has turned our world upside down and told us that we as women are here to serve men, then what do you think when you reverse that truth would be? Now, that's
Mm-hmm.
not to say that it's not it's not it is a give and take. Okay, men are not supposed to be slaves and supposed to be suppressed, but women have to rise. We have to rise, and to do that, there's going to have to be um, men coming up and coming into the place where they can actually serve the goddess energy that's rising, because the divine feminine is rising with or without whoever. None of us are in a position to stop it, but what we can do is get on board to help it and then benefit from it as well. So it's very important that the woman is free from her the position that was forced upon her enslavement to men, because that's not what you were created for. And that's not to say you shouldn't get married, because that's what we were talking about. I think that actually brought this up was that we were talking about a woman should, you can be married, you can be in love, you serve your husband, help your husband, him serve you and help you. It's not to say, run away from all of that love stuff. But what it is to say is that you no longer have to choose a man that you feel comfortable with dominating you, because you were not created to be dominated in the first place.
So now that right there is where we need to expound on, because um what I have found though, like just in general conversation with other goddesses, I think we talked about this yesterday, where I was saying that a lot of us don't know how to pull out that positive energy from our
Mm,
mate. And so a lot of us have gotten in relationships out of convenience. We have gotten in relationships out of rebounds. And so
right,
the thing is though, even though sometimes these relationships are very necessary, and they're necessary for the simple fact that they are showing you a perspective of yourself that you missed in your previous
yes,
relationship. Okay. And
right,
so, not saying to negate from those relationships, because they're actually required in order for you to evolve or continue to evolve. But the thing
right, right,
is, when you have those type of relationships present with you, learn to know what to do with them and how to properly use them so that you get what you were supposed to be getting for you to move forward. You understand what I mean? So
right.
I think that for a lot of our women, and I was sharing this with the other crystal, you guys know, I was sharing with her today that what ends up we have these negative relationships, or we have negative people that we are involved with, and what ends up happening is we end up just kind of, I'm just going to go into the meat of it, I'm not going to dance around it, we just end up having sex. And so you're not
Right.
actually exchanging energy. And so what we as a people have not been taught is that a sex or sexual relationships or interactions are rituals. And so what we've been taught to do is use sex as a gratification um, mechanism instead of pulling energy, because that's the most ultimate energy exchange that you can have, and it's actually required. We need that as a divine feminine. Our men are the creators of energy. They we have to pull from them. However, what ends up happening is you just end up having sex and you're getting pulled from. You're not getting anything. So you're just having dead sex. You're not, there's no exchanging going on. Y'all just getting your jollies off and that's it. And that's not even what that's for. The thing is when we as goddesses get into our goddess selves and our goddess state and understand what it's really made for, then you will start to see the benefits of having sexual relationships. That don't mean go out here and get as many different sexual partners you can get to have all kinds of energy. You don't want to do that either. But what I'm saying is for some women, for some goddesses, that might be your requirement for certain things. So I think that we get really out of context. We misuse what sex is really intended for. And I think that if we could really get to a place where we started to use those times as our ritual and receiving, reciprocating, giving and exchanging, as opposed to just getting your jollies off, because that's not what that's for. That's actually supposed to be your time to get your clarity of mind. That's your time to commune with the creator, so to speak. And we're not using that for that purpose. So then you kind of wonder why when those type of things happen, you get all these different negative things happening all around you in your home, in your business, in your work, and in your finances, because you wasn't in there creating nothing. You wasn't manifesting not one damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So, or either you were manifesting wrong things. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right there, because sex is about manifesting. See, the thing that okay, let's deal with the womb of a woman. Okay, now when I talk about divine feminine, I'm one that I've been known.
The camera went out, sis.
Did it? Hold on, let me check it. Is it back on?
No, I don't see you. I just hear you.
How about now? I see myself, but I don't see. Let me see.
You might come back up.
Okay. It's when dealing with the divine feminine, that is dealing with the womb power. Womb, what is a womb? A womb is a place of creation. It's a place, I mean, in fact, it is really it is the only place of creation, okay? Now, a lot of you who are science heads, you already know about all the stuff that they're doing in the laboratories with the cloning and the growing a baby outside of the womb. What they did was make an artificial womb. At the end of the day, you can't get away from where creation happens, right? So, but the man has a unique and very powerful kind of energy. Now, we are all energetic beings. We are all giving and exchanging energy in everything that we do. However, the woman has a womb, and a womb has an insatiable appetite for energy when it's active. Now, for those of you who think I'm only talking about having babies, I'm not. When you think about creating and you think about manifesting still happens in the womb. The creation process, the mind is a type of a womb, in fact. When you think about it, the heart is also another type of womb, but the actual womb of a woman is where greatness, resides. So that's why, okay, like this is a sidebar, but it needs to be said. I look at a lot of men and they are going through all kind of hell because they laid up and had babies with somebody that they found attractive. They saw them at the bar or at some place. They had a big butt and some nice breasts and nice weave or some nice hair or some nice eyes or whatever, and then they got caught up and they put a baby there, and then they later on discovered that this person was basically a real bitch. You know what I'm saying? Just a horrible person that they're not a great creator, that they of course have a womb, they can make babies, and they also have a womb, they're also manifesting life, and life they're manifesting. chaos. They are chaotic creators, okay? And so now that chaos is in his life and he's bound to it because they have a child together, okay? And I see a lot of women who allow, because they go out there and they find a mate, they say, you know, he look good, he got nice muscles, or he drive a nice car, he got a good job, you know, he got good benefits, you know what I'm saying, and he happened to be single. So they pull that into their lives, and then that person hurts them later, and then because of that they become bitter, and they become chaotic vibrators, so they become chaotic creators, and they bring babies through that, they trying to bring businesses through their friendships and everything else, and everything that they touch becomes chaotic, and their life goes from bad to worse, and it continues down that path because of what they are vibrating on. So a lot of times what happens is our women want to blame the men want to blame the women, but at the end of the day, if we were all in judgment hall, you're only judged by what you have done, okay? And so for women, we have to stop blaming what a man has done, because ultimately the woman rules the world. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if people don't like when I say it. The woman has the power, because here's the thing, a woman can, and it has been scientifically proven, do your research, reproduce without a man. It is a lot easier with the man. It's a lot more streamlined of a process with the man, because a man's sperm cells act like a nuclear bomb in the ovum or in the egg and cause creation to happen. It's like a big light. It doesn't kill a woman to make a baby with a man. It doesn't take as much from her to make a baby with a man as it would as if she was trying to asexually reproduce.
Right.
Now, you have all this power, because at any time women could decide that they're done with this place and not have no more babies, and that would be the end of it. A man cannot have babies, cannot procreate. They can't. So a woman has that power. And if you have somewhere along the line given your power to some man or some people in your life that misused you, whatever else, that's fine. You know, now use your power to heal yourself so that you can get busy recreating a life that you actually want to live, versus harming yourself and doing more damage by going along with this victim mentality. We got to get free from that. You cannot be a goddess and a victim at the same time. You're going to have to choose one. Powerful.
Say that now. Now you touching on some toes right there.
It's the truth, sis.
Now I'm gonna tell you, you know, it kind of goes back to you. So, you know, I'm not totally against for some information that we all get from the Christian Orthodox, because that saying about, you know, you birthing something in your spirit, you actually are birthing something in your womb. You know, thoughts, processes that you have, you birth those. You know what I mean? Actions, you birth those. Hold on one second, you guys.
Okay. That's powerful what she was saying too. We are birthers. We are birthers. We are creators. And on top of that, we have to, it's the most dangerous thing is to have power and don't know how to wield it. That is the most dangerous thing in the world. If you have power to create, but you don't have the knowledge to know how to go about it, you'll be creating, you'll be walking in your power, but then you won't be creating according to knowledge or according to wisdom, or even in according to anything that works for your highest good. Okay, I'll give you another example on that. A lot of women right now, they're recreating bad relationships. It just keep happening because they can't stop thinking about all of the stuff they don't want and all of the stuff that they've been through. Well, your energy flows where your thoughts go. Okay. If my thoughts are on how men are always cheating and always doing this and always doing that, and I'm always watching these reality TV shows that verify or fortify that thought in my head and in my heart and in my womb and my spirit and my gut, then I can't create something that I don't know exists, that I don't believe in. You know, listen, this is so important, ladies. You will never be able to create what you first cannot see. Now, that's another part of the Bible I actually agree with. I still read my Bible. I read it because it's a powerful, esoteric document, powerful. And now I read it with way more enjoyment than I did when I was preaching. But if you, as a person, do not and cannot conceive of wealth, if I ask you right now to get a picture of what your life would look like if you were wealthy, and you cannot see past living in the projects, can't see past like the best kind of car you can imagine getting is an '04 Taurus. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to knock anybody who drive those kind of cars. To drive anything is a blessing, okay? And that's a form of wealth, to be real. But if that's as far as you can see, it's beyond you to think about driving a Maybach or being driven around in one, okay, or owning a Bentley or this and that, because you have not seen these things, you might not have heard of these things, and you certainly can't conceive of them, and it blocks. So your limitations are all about your mind, what you can believe.
That's speaking some real truth right there.
You have to choose what you want, and then put yourself in a position where that thing becomes a reality for you. In other words, if I want to be happily married, I got to go find me some friends who speak well of each other. Even if their marriage not perfect, it don't have to be perfect to be happy. They speak well of each other. They spend time with each other. They got a flow that makes me excited. Everybody has found that one couple that when you see them, it almost make you sick and make you happy at the same time. Like, oh, what shot to get a room. You need that if you're trying to manifest happiness. You got to learn to overcome your limitations, not bow down to them. You're a goddess. You're not a weakling. You are a powerful, energetic being who has the ability to create and co-create in this world.
And another thing, sis, I want to kind of expound on something of what you just said. Another thing, and I think our goddesses don't fathom this point about stop stealing other people's shit. I'm just gonna say it like that. You know, right. Like you see another goddess and her king, and they doing a thing, and like you said, no relationship is perfect. Or you see them, and they express their love for one another. Stop trying to tap into that, like take that. But tap into it in a manner where you are tapping into it to learn how to manifest that for yourself. The one thing that I have an issue with our goddesses, and I'm going to say this because men don't generally do this. It's very rare. And if they do it, it's because the goddess kind of initiated the process of being taken from somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I don't know where in our thought processes we thought or figure that it's okay to mess with someone that's already with someone, or to try to tear down a foundation that is already being built. You understand what I'm saying? Why would you want that? Because what are you expecting to manifest from something that you're taking from someone else? You see what I'm saying? Like there is no prosperity or abundance that will come from that for you. It may momentarily, and that's only going to be in the beginning, but trust and believe that 80-20 rule, it's real, Okay. So for my goddesses out here, and listen, if I'm stepping on your toes, then that means that there is some works to be done within yourself. Because if you think that what I'm saying is wrong, then clearly there is some work that you need to do from within. You never ever step into mess with or try to manifest off of something that is already being built. You don't do that. That is not goddess status. I'm sorry. That's not goddess status, and that's not God status either. And so generally, goddesses and gods, when they get together and they begin to manifest things, yes, you're going to have outside forces and things and people that will try to come in and interfere in that. They want a piece of it. Oh, that looks so good. That y'all look like y'all just always Trust me, honey, if you knew what half of these goddesses had to go through to get to that point, you might not want it. You understand?
You said the truth. You know what? That brings up something, because I'm gonna tell you this. When I first married my husband, when I first put his picture online, because I kept that hidden for a long time. Come on through, Ogun girl. Can y'all hear the trains?
I can't hear
But
it now.
oh, well, good. That's good. But I was like, people was like, oh my God, he's so handsome and he's so smart. And, they go on his Facebook page and he's so this and he's so that and you so lucky. It's kind of like, I'm lucky just because he look good and he make good posts on Facebook. Like, you don't know this man. Now, I am blessed. Don't get me wrong. I'm not detracting from my king, but he's also very mean. He's also very demanding. He's also very picky. He's also a lot of things. He also has kind of temper that takes him to jail. Okay, so
Okay.
yes, he's wonderful, but he's not perfect. And so a lot of times, because I've done this, sis, and I'm gonna be honest and real with you guys because we're having a real conversation. I have slept with married men before. I have ended up with a married man before. In fact, my son's father was married when I met him. And they broke up and we were together. And just like my mother and my grandmother said, the worst thing in the world is to go get a man that was with somebody else. Then you come along and you move her out the way. Then you discover just what you're getting, because when he got her at home and then you dilling and dallying around, you getting the best side of him. Of course you're going to love him because you ain't got to argue him. You ain't got to wash his dirty drawers. You ain't got to do all of this other stuff. But when she's gone and you're all that's left, you discover that, you know what? He ain't all that he cracked up to be. Now all of a sudden, she was getting slapped. Now you're getting slapped. She was the one getting cheated on. Now you're the main one that's wondering about how many other people out here he cheating on you with. It really is, ladies. It's like, even if you discard Christianity and every other major religion and all of their morality and teaching, come back to the universal laws, okay? When you put something out there, you must face that thing again. Okay. And here's the scary part. It's okay. I remember a time I used to be like, well, why can't I get away with stuff at least a little while? It's like everything I do came right back. It's good when it comes right back. It ain't gathered no interest. What's bad is when that
There you
thing
go.
linger and linger. It's getting bigger and bigger. And when you face it again, it's going to be a lot bigger than when you put it out there. If you don't believe in karma, if you don't believe in nothing else, you got to believe by now in consequences. And so messing around in other people's relationships, and I ain't talking about the weird stuff that everybody's doing now with 3-way and 4-way and 5-way relationships and group community type of sex. I don't know what all they doing now, but that's not my opinion. I ain't knocking somebody who do it, but I mean in the sense that you know that she don't know about you, or you know that he don't know about you, but you constantly kind of dipping and dallying in there trying to win somebody out of something. What would you possibly be getting? Because who or what with integrity is going to allow you in when they already are committed to something?
There you go. Now you said a lot right there. I think one thing that I could say, like, so from my experience, okay, and I remember when I met my husband, like, I remember when I looked at his picture, I was like, you got a lot of women. But, but here's the thing. We let our ego take over, and we don't bother to do no research into who you getting. Because let me tell you something, ladies. Just because a thing look good don't mean that you are prepared and equipped to deal with what comes with it. Okay, you got to be a special kind of goddess to deal with certain type of men, and if you not equipped with that, stop trying to dip your hand in something that you ain't even ready to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? And then, like, it takes a certain kind of king to deal with a certain type of goddess. You know what I mean? So sometimes we want things just because it looks good. That don't always mean that for you it's gonna be good. It might be good for that goddess, and it might be good for that king. You see what I'm saying? That's because the universe aligned them together for a reason. Stop trying to take stuff that you can't or won't be able to handle. You see what I'm saying? Because you might get it. And like my sister said, you get that good side of that person. You don't see the ins and outs because you're not dealing with that person on a daily basis. You don't know their hurts. You don't know their strengths. You don't know their weaknesses. You don't know none of that. So to want to put yourself in the middle of something like that, you got to be careful what you're trying to dip into, basically.
Right. Absolutely. That would save so many broken hearts. I have 4 clients right now. And I don't feel like this is because I don't put my client list out, and that's the only reason why I'm sharing, guys, because nobody knows who my clients are in the first place. But I have 4 different clients right now who are nursing broken hearts because they chose to fall into a game and didn't exercise dominion over their own life and over their own heart and over their own sexual organs.
Mm.
Say this along with what my sister just said. A lot of you feel like somebody has done you an injustice because they took you up on an offer where you was apparently open for sexual exchange. Listen at this, guys. Equal exchange is not a robbery. I say this all the time because it's a very powerful statement. What that means is that if I lay down and have sex with you and you lay down and have sex with me, we just had sex, and that's just all that is. And the problem is a lot of women, we give up our sex because we're trying to get love, but we don't make that apparent. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you're not going to be loved just because of your sex. If that was the case, every woman in the world would be loved, right? Except for the virgins. And they would be on their way to being loved.
You said a lot right there.
Yes, yes. We can't do that. You cannot, if you laying down to have sex, it's because you need to be doing that because you want to have sex. And that's what y'all have going on. And now here's another thing when it comes to that. I understand that men lie, women lie, people lie. But I'm going to tell you something else I understand and what I have understood, especially in my last 2 marriages, because both of my husbands were extremely handsome and extremely attractive to women, and intelligent. And they were powerful men, and women like power. There are a lot of women, whether y'all believe it out or not, that's out there that's straight getting naked in front of men, begging them to have them. You know, that's a sign that you are weak and you don't love yourself. When you get to the point where you are just all the way out there for whatever you can get, whoever you can pull into you, that means you ain't loving yourself. You know, because there's a lot of people out there. Like I know a guy, when I was getting out of jail, they was just not sentencing him, and he infected over 100 and some women with HIV. And the Joker looked drop dead gorgeous. He'd make your mouth fall open, like, wow, he is handsome. But you see, that's not all it is to it. Wow, he got some money. You could say that about Usher. He handsome, he got money, he's successful, he can dance, whatever. But at the same time, that does not negate what place he's in right now. You got to be discerning, queens. You have to discern. This is your life. What decision you make, even right now, if somebody wants to sleep with my husband, they can do all of that. Really, though, what they doing, that's them. It don't take nothing from me. I'm still all that. I'm still me. I'm still the goddess. I'm still this person. You are affecting you, and that's your consequences you got to deal with. If he end up getting left, that's his consequences he got to deal with. But Lucretia gonna be okay because I have decided that I'm not gonna allow my life to be determined by all these outside things. You guys, that's where your power is. When you pull it all back in and say, my life will be what I say it will be. I'm going to feel how I say I'm going to feel. I'm going to live how I say I'm going to live in a way that honors me and makes me feel good to wake up in the morning. That's how you live.
That's so true. Like, I think that, like you said, like a lot of women are, you've missed something, and somewhere in your home life, your upbringing, you weren't given something, so to speak. And I'm speaking from my personal experience. I was raised by my father. My mother was not present. I had both my grandmothers there to kind of fill in the gap, but it wasn't the same. You know what I mean? And so being raised by a young Black male, my father at the time when I was born was 20. So you got to understand, for a 20-year-old man to be completely raising a baby girl all by himself, that's a lot. So, you know, but for me to be brought up in a household like that, and then my upbringing was very strict, so I didn't get to experience a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But I knew growing up in Christianity, I was raised Pentecostal, so there were a lot of ground rules that stuck with me. And I can't say that even right now there aren't certain things that still linger with me from that type of teaching. You know what I mean? It became a part of me. And so there are some things that I'm very strict on with concerning myself. However, you take what you need to take, and all that doesn't apply, you leave it to the side, basically. And so now in my spirituality, as I grow deeper in my divinity, I still apply certain things to myself, but one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. One thing I never want to do is steal somebody else's foundation. I don't want to steal somebody else's power. That's never been my get up. I ain't never been that type. You know what I mean? If I ever dealt with somebody and I found out that they was with somebody, oh, it was like, oh, hell to the no. Like, you got stuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not
Absolutely.
gonna sit here and say that I never dealt with somebody that was married, because that's how I found out. My ex, I have been married twice. My ex-husband was still married, and I found out after we had been together for years. Like, he kept that concealed. You know what I mean? So for me, I felt like, oh my goodness, like, how come you didn't tell me something like that? Because for one, that person is they are altering your contract. Basically, they are altering your ability to be able to make decisions for yourself. You know, when you get into relationships like that, people don't think about it. And I'm gonna tell you something. The universe and spirit spoke to me on multiple occasions to get out of that marriage, and I didn't. I let my ego take over, and I stayed put. And I, got myself involved in some things that I'm just like, what in the Sam sausage hell is going on? But it took for spirit to remove me from that situation to show me, because when you are outsider looking in, you see everything. When you in the middle of something, you see half bits and pieces. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
for me, I went through a same purification and purging. I had to go to prison so that I could see what this fool was doing and what he wasn't doing. You see what I'm saying? It took for me to get from underneath of him, because you don't understand the type of entities that people carry. Because for somebody to do something like that, or bring you into a relationship like that and not disclose that type of information, they feed in something else. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
necessarily want to eat off of that same plate, but sometimes you're eating off of it and you don't know that. So you are incorporating those same type of negative entities, energies. You may incorporate some behaviors and habits that you don't know where they came from, but then you realize after learning that kind of information, oh, that's why this is happening. Oh, that's why that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And so when we get caught up into stuff like that, you get linked up and intertwined into a lot of messes that we don't even know how to get out of. If you're not connected with the right people, the right positive type of energy, some of us stay stuck in that. I'm gonna tell you something. One thing that I learned: carrying a name has the same weight of negative energy, especially if that wasn't a good relationship.
Hmm.
A lot of us as goddesses have been in relationships, prior marriages, and we still carry on the name of that person. You don't
Hmm.
understand what comes with the name that you carry. I'm telling you, you have to learn who you are dealing with, learn what you are dealing with, because it's not just a person that you bring, that you incorporate into your aura. You incorporate
Right.
everything about that. Their lineage, whatever may have happened, that's karmic. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we think about those type of things, but they're very important, especially if your energy is important to you. Then those are things that you really need to sit down and take into consideration. And one thing I will say about males: they may sleep around with 50,000 different women, but they not bringing 50,000 different women home to mom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They get selective when they start talking about being serious and intertwining their energy for real with somebody. They don't just bring everybody home. Females are different. Females, I've seen females, honey, they bring them all around their kids. They have Tom, Dick, and Harry all in the same day and 2 hours apart, and all of them coming in, and that's Uncle Tom, Uncle Harry, and Uncle Dick. Get out of here with that.
Girl, you ain't said you girl, yes, ma'am.
You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
we got to stop that though. We have to stop, because here's the thing: we want so much. We want to manifest so many good things for ourselves and for our children, and then we don't understand when nothing that we want actually happens. You got to start going back and do some self-evaluating. You got to really sit down and go into yourself and figure out those things, those hurts that you haven't wanted to deal with since you was 4. Go back there, because it's in that place where you're going to find your healing. It's in that place where in your now self, you're going to say, you know what? I don't know what the world I was thinking about. I don't need that. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? It's time for some self-correction. It's time for us to, for real, be real with yourself, because we don't sit down and get real with ourselves as goddesses and be very clear about what it is that we need. We get into relationships with these kings and you don't even tell them what it is that you really need from them. So they come in really blind and they trying to figure their way out like they in the dark. And then when your needs are not getting met, y'all looking at each other half crazy because you didn't tell him what you wanted. You just thought that he worked for Miss Cleo.
Right. That's absolutely right. That is so true. Most of us hadn't taken the time to know what we want.
That's true. And one reason why we don't know what we want is because we never take time in between relationships. Even, let me tell you something. As a teenager, when you first leave home, you should not jump into a relationship because, for one, you have been living under the confines of somebody else's rules. So you don't even know what you yourself want because you've been doing what other people wanted you to do. But what we do is we take those ideologies and those thought processes and we carry them over with us, and then we incorporate other people and what they believe and what they like, and then we trying to mesh all of that together when you still don't even know what it is that you like. What is it about yourself that you like? We get into relationships and we move from one and jump right into another one, and you didn't take no time to grieve. You didn't take no time to mourn. You didn't take no time to rebuild. You didn't even take no time to restore the energy that you just put into a 5-year relationship. You jumped into another one. You there, sis? I think we might have lost Creature for a second, but kind of, I mean, basically what we really were trying to touch on was not to really step on anybody's toes, but to really give you guys something to think about. I think that a lot of times we act before we actually think. We act before we speak, and it gets us caught up into a lot of situations that we didn't necessarily want. It may have seemed like it could have been a good thing, but it wasn't necessarily good. You know that saying, everything that's gold and glitter ain't good. So, sometimes you gotta really go deeper within and figure your own self out before you can incorporate somebody else into your space and want and expect certain things of them to help you. You got to do that for yourself first. Know what you need. Know your own wants. You know what I mean? Not saying that, two people couldn't come together and figure it out together, but it may take you a lot longer to do that, if you didn't bother to try to do it for yourself first, is basically what we're trying to say. And just kind of give you some things to think about, even in your current relationships. It doesn't mean that your current relationship can't work, but if you've been having some dysfunction or some misunderstanding in there, maybe this can give you something to think about so you can go back in and rebuild your foundation. Sometimes it may just mean adding some extra cement blocks or adding some extra, wood in there to kind of, patch it up. Sometimes you just need to patch certain areas. And then some of us just need to completely tear down and start our foundation completely all over again, and so, but it takes work. And a lot of us don't want to necessarily do the work. Like, we just want instant gratification. We want that right now relationship. We want that right now love. And just because you see somebody else smiling and, loving on their mate like that, don't mean that they didn't go through some fires to get to that point. So, just kind of take those type of things into consideration when you dealing in your own relationships and when you looking for your soul mate, so to speak. You got to do some real healing, though. Some of us who are not fully awakened, we miss the opportunity. Sometimes the universe will send you certain people or they'll give you certain messages and you're not paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And then you miss that mark. So then you got to wait for it to come back around again. You know, how many times have we done that? You know, so Chris, you here? So I think we might have lost her, but you know, the living goddesses will probably come back together again. This time we're going to have our other coven sister to join us to kind of extend this conversation, but we're going to kind of go a little deeper into our kings and, you know, kind of helping them to learn and understand how to take care of the goddess and her energy, and, you know, how to use that energy that he has to give you what you need, you know, because our kings are the creators of the energy and we are the reciprocators. So we pull from our men, you know, but sometimes we drain our men so much and deplete them that they have nothing to give to us when we really need what we need from them. So, you know, so I hope you guys will join us next time in our next conversation. And that may be tonight. If not tonight, it'll definitely be tomorrow. But we appreciate you guys. We love the support. Don't forget to go over and check out Coach Krisha's page. Like her page if you haven't. Subscribe to her if you have not. Also, like, share, and subscribe to Eclectic Crystal Intuitive Guide. So until next time, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Peace.